people who show up when things get hard, not because they had the right words, not because they knew what to do, just because they came and they stayed. And somehow that was enough. And then there are people who don't, not strangers, not people who never cared, people who were there before and then quietly weren't. No fight, no explanation, just an empty chair. Most people have encountered both kinds, and most people, if they're honest, have been both kinds at some point. That's the part that makes this harder to look at clearly. There's a specific kind of absence that's difficult to name. It's not a falling out. There's no moment anyone can point to. It looks more like a slow dimming, messages that get shorter, replies that take longer, until one day the thread just stops. Not because anyone decided to end it, but because something, quietly, already had. These people aren't cold by nature. In easier times, they're often the warmest ones in the room, present, attentive, genuinely there. They show up for the good moments without hesitation. But when the weight shifts, when someone close to them goes through something that requires a different kind of presence, something in them pulls back, slowly, almost invisibly, without announcement. What's happening inside them isn't what it looks like from the outside. The easy read is that they didn't care enough, that when it mattered, they chose their own comfort. And sometimes that's part of it. But more often, what's underneath is something quieter and less flattering to everyone involved. They don't know how to be present with pain that isn't theirs. Psychologists call this low distress tolerance, a limited capacity to sit with someone else's suffering without feeling destabilized by it. Not absence of feeling. Often the opposite. They feel too much, too fast, and they don't know what to do with that. So they step back. And the retreat doesn't feel like retreat from the inside. It feels like not knowing what to say, like giving space, like not wanting to make things worse. The message gets typed and deleted. The call gets postponed. The intention stays, but the showing up doesn't happen. And by the time enough distance has accumulated, returning feels too awkward to attempt. The people around them feel it, even when they can't name it. There's no confrontation, no conversation about what changed, just a quiet, almost unconscious recalibration. A mental note that gets filed away. Not this person, not for that. The friendship doesn't end. It just moves to safer ground, stays in the shallows, where nothing too heavy can reach. What's less visible is what they carry, because disappearing isn't neutral, even for the one who disappears. Most of them know, somewhere, that they weren't there when it mattered. They may not say it. They may not let themselves think it directly, but it surfaces in a low discomfort when a certain name comes up, in a story they've quietly revised to make the distance feel more justified than it was. Some of them talk about it, eventually, not to the person they left behind usually, to someone else, a partner, a friend, years later. They describe it as complicated, as something they regret but can't fully explain, because from the inside, it never felt like a choice. It felt like something that just happened. The question without a clean answer is whether this changes. And the honest response is, sometimes. Not through confrontation, not through being told they failed. Usually it happens after they go through something hard themselves, after they finally understand from the inside what they had been asking others to do. They learn slowly that sitting with someone else's pain doesn't mean absorbing it. That presence doesn't require solutions. That showing up sometimes means doing almost nothing, just not leaving. Some people arrive at that understanding. Others don't. And maybe that's the most human thing about this pattern. It's not cruelty. It's not indifference. It's a limitation, one that most people who have it have never been forced to see clearly. They didn't disappear because the other person didn't matter. They disappeared because staying, really staying, required something they hadn't yet learned how to do. And maybe the unsettling part isn't that they left. It's that most of them never noticed they did.